Hey everybody, I am Revengeance and welcome to our Season 8 teaser discussion about Sansa. Our Season 8 discussion in general about Sansa. Today I have with me Lady Wolverton. Jen, you want to say hello first and then we'll go on to Liz, and Bran Wick is with us today also.
Okay, sure. Y'all know me. I'm Jen from Lady Wolverton's Den. We do a book club every Thursday at 8. I believe we're on a Game of Thrones, Catelyn 10, chapter 63. That's what we'll be doing tomorrow at 8 o'clock every Thursday. Thanks for having us, Ree. And with that, Bran, Liz.
I thought Liz was going. I can go ahead and I'm Brian. You can find me on Amino or Facebook or anything. I'm really excited to talk about Sansa tonight, and I'm excited about this new season too.
All right. I'm Liz, and I think my links are in the description. You can find me. I answer lots of questions on Quora, and I ask lots of questions on Quora about Game of Thrones and Sansa. And also, I write a lot of fanfic about Sansa. And so you can see the links to some of that stuff as well, and metas and all kinds of stuff. So I'm excited. I'm like Bran. I'm really pleasantly surprised by the promos we've gotten and excited to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. So as you see, we have a Sansa panel today. So it's going to be really good. Something I learned today, too, that I did not know that's kind of interesting is Bran Wick is just like on what is it, book 3?
Yeah, just past the Red Wedding the other day, and it totally ripped my heart out.
Yeah, I was like, let's remember Harold Harding. I was trying to remember his name. I was really nervous about forgetting it, and he's like, who? And I was like, what? So I guess we're gonna try to avoid spoilers for him on that note and stick to the show Sansa and try to avoid Elaine Stone a little bit. You want to do that, guys?
Sounds good.
Okay, because yeah, you're getting to the really good stuff now, Bran, and I don't want to spoil any of it for you.
Well, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I didn't know, Bran.
Yeah, and I thought that was like, it's like, oh, a virgin, you're rare anymore. So I want to keep up with where you're reading too. I think that'll be fun. So you got to keep going. Yeah, let us know. That makes book club a lot more interesting, don't it, Jen?
It does. And that's what I like about having different people on the panel, whether they're just show watchers or they've read every single piece of literature out there and watched every YouTube video and every interview, and this is canon. I like everybody at a very different level.
Oh, yeah. It makes the discussions a lot more interesting, too.
Mm-hmm. I find that it does.
Oh, yeah. And yes, and I got links for you, Liz, on there, and she was talking about that she does Quora, so that's something interesting, too, in there. And, yeah, I will have book club and everything else in there as well for you guys. So that being said, we seen Sansa on our little teaser trailer here recently, greeting Dany and Jon as they return to Winterfell in season 8. So what was your guys' first impression about this?
I mean, Sansa is fighting every battle everywhere in her head. It's not going to do no good, if we see somebody cut Dany direct, it's going to be Arya. I can see a scene with Arya if they meet. According to my husband, Arya's already left to go get her revenge. That all she was doing was trying to get Peter Baelish's face to go get Cersei. But if we do see somebody, I think kind of be like, so who are you? It's gonna be Arya. Because she doesn't put on any kind of she's, how you guys know. So that's what I think. I think Sansa's just going to do her due diligence and she's kind of, she's lived through battles before, and things can change so fast, and she's already lived through this several times.
That's not the first time that I've heard the whole Peterized comparison there about the fighting every battle in her head, and she's kind of got that look about her already, don't she?
She does. I honestly, and we get her citing this Cersei shit last year and everything like that. I mean, to me, she's kind of pulling a Cersei, except for she really is on Jon and Daenerys' side, and she's not going to overtly, I don't believe, go against them, but really, she's just trying to wait and see how everything comes down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some of that. I think one thing to note with Sansa and a couple of her other reactions that we've seen, like I know people on Tumblr were paralleling how she was when she greeted Roose Bolton in season 5, and she was very polite to him, very and so even then she didn't. Obviously, a scene or two before that, she's basically in tears, refusing to go, telling Littlefinger she doesn't want to go and be with the Boltons. And then, to Roose Bolton's face, she's as pleasant as, she's as polite as she can be. So I think that, I'll be really interested to see what scene comes before this one or after, and how much, will we get.
There goes that Canadian internet. She got stuck a little bit.
Oh, I'm freezing.
Oh, there you go. Okay. I understand what you're saying, and that's a really good point too. Because with Roose Bolton, she knows how to act the proper lady. And that is a really good point to see what her counsel will be before. Especially when we see the look on Brienne's face behind her,
Such a small clip,
terrible.
Such a really honestly small clip, but I am intrigued by the fact that that's what they gave us. You know what I mean? Out of all the storylines going on and every clip they could have given, I'm intrigued by the fact that that's what they chose to give first off.
Right.
Me too. I mean, yeah, that's what really surprised me, because
me as well. Like
I thought, last year we got a little, or 2 years ago now, I guess, I don't know, whenever it was, we got a little, we got those kind of clips of Jon, Sansa, Arya, but then after that, it was really all like Jon, Daenerys, Cersei, like the big kind of players. But, this kind of focus on, Jon and Sansa, Jon and Daenerys, like, I don't know how there's not going to be a love triangle. Like, I don't know. That's just
it wasn't even so much a focus on Jon, other than he was returning to Winterfell with Dany, and it was more like game on, bitches. It was more about the way Sansa was looking at Dany, and Dany was like, "Yeah, hi, yep." And Dany has nothing to worry about. What does she got to worry about? She's got Unsullied to Thraki, and she's banging Jon. She's just coming home to meet the family. She's just like, yeah, hi, how you doing? I got dragons, bitches. What y'all worried about? Y'all are happy that I'm here to help y'all against the Night King and, all the others, She's just,
she's a bit smug, but she's also, I think, I don't know, like, I'm curious if she knows, like, if she was expecting Sansa, like, because Sansa's kind of like, she's taller.
She's 5'9", yeah.
I can't be the only person that thought Daenerys looked a little bit like a bobblehead here.
But Daenerys was a little bit like what, Bran?
She looks like a bobblehead to me. She just looks funny. It might have been her scar. But I'm also excited about Jorah Mormont being back up there, where he's like exiled from.
That was like my happiest moment of that entire thing was Jorah. I was, as much as he was smiling and grinning, I think I was just as happy for him. I was like, oh, he's finally back home. And I think I'm kind of more excited to see how just Lyanna and the other Mormonts accept him and react to him, maybe, um, because that's all Jorah's wanted this entire time. Everything he has done has been to go home. So
the end all. You can go home now.
Yeah.
I heard an interesting theory, and this total tinfoil theory. There's two interesting tinfoil theories I've heard about this. One, and I don't know how much this happened, but the theory was that Lyanna Mormont will be very anti-Daenerys, and that could cause problems for Jorah, and that maybe Daenerys threatens Lyanna or something, and that really makes Jorah sort of the thing that pushes him away from Daenerys. I don't know if I subscribe to that theory. I think it's interesting.
I don't think Jorah would just be okay with
that. I would like to see Lyanna Mormont set Daenerys down.
Oh yeah, I could see her.
What are you talking to?
I don't see Jorah just be like, okay, and be all right with Lyanna and turn his back on Daenerys for Lyanna.
Yeah, I know. That's where
that's the only part I don't go for.
Yeah, like I'm curious about that theory. So I don't know. That was a theory, kind of I saw on Twitter or Tumblr somewhere. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Peter Griffin says Sansa won the moment. Dany looks a bit overconfident. Jon looks like he still knows nothing, and that is so true. He thought the greeting went well, and that is. Well, he looked a little nervous when he was looking back at Sansa. I thought, at least, like he just looked like, is she taking it all right? Like, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Did you guys think that? I thought that Jon looked a little bit nervous. Like, he hugged Sansa just like he was happy to see her, but he was a little worried about her reaction. And, like, he almost knew he could read into her reaction, And honestly, the way that she acted, I seen total Cersei. It reminded me of Cersei from episode 1 when she got off the wagon and walked over there and just kind of, her hand. Yeah. But instead we heard Ned's words come out from episode 1 about Winterfell is yours, your grace. But it was like looking at Cersei, if that makes sense. So
you think Sansa was like Cersei?
Yeah, it was like looking at Cersei, but Ned's words. There we go. Yeah. And it was a lot of callbacks to episode 1, the very first one, Yeah. In this one, so that makes me kind of a little more interested in what's going to happen too between them, because if that's the case, then is she playing? Who is she playing in that scenario? Where was Tyrion too? Because that's another thing. What has Tyrion told Dany about Sansa? Because
I find that weird. I find that weird that Daenerys never been like, what is, your wife, Sansa Stark, like? In fact, we've never even,
I'm sure she has, but off screen. And he's kind of offered information like, oh, I really love being married to Sansa. She's going to grow up to be really smart someday. Like he did with Jon when he seen Jon on Dragonstone.
I think I don't know. I can't tell. I'm curious if this is like just something that happened off screen. But
you got all stuttery and froze. You know what's really crazy is before we went live, she did not break up at all.
I know. It's that Canadian internet.
I know.
Just based on Daenerys.
Okay, I'm gonna go over here for a second.
Go to the chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the chat for a second. Okay, Connie says Jorah always wanted home, and that is, he did always want. Septa Shayna Secrets, which, by the way, I don't know if you guys seen his Varys video, but go check it out. It was really good. Yeah, wasn't it good? Lion Eye Sansa. Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. Because it was like, if she would have been smiling, I would have thought it was like what my mom always called the fuck you smile, where you're just kind of smiling, but you're like, I'm just, yep, but fuck you. But she didn't have a smile on her face. It was just like, she was just mean mugging her, you know? It was just a real shady sideways look that she was giving her. She wasn't trying to hide shit. That's why she reminded me of Cersei so much, I think. Says what? Eisbury, resting B-face Danny. Yeah, she just was like, so just like teasing though. Like, she just didn't have a care in the world. I mean, come on, you're about to face impending death against the Night King, and you're just don't give a shit.
Very naive, like, and I think she's just naive in this situation. She like underestimates Sansa, or didn't have any clue who Sansa was, and the whole situation, like the Night King, all of it. She's just, Dany's like needs a hard reality check, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly. I think she's gonna just vastly underestimate Sansa, and that's gonna be where she screws up.
Yeah.
And whip shrug John. Yeah, he's totally whipped.
I think
so. Dany's neck looks thin. Yeah, I think it's just where she was just holding her head a little high. I thought that too.
Can we talk about
Danny? Looks like a bobblehead for sure.
Hey, Carrie.
Danny's outfit, like, I really.
I think it looks dumb. I don't like it. I didn't care for it. It doesn't look that little red or whatever, chief or whatever. I don't care for it. Am I the only one who thought it looked?
No, I don't like it either.
It don't look like it goes with the same outfit, and I think that I think that anybody would say that. Like certainly Givenchy or somebody would be like, "No, honey, don't wear the kerchief."
Yeah, that was like her little. What it is, and I heard this. They were like trying to look like Viserys. That's like her brother. It's like a callback to his outfit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I liked the last season's version better of that jacket. I really like it. There's some someone mentioned too, like it's like a bloody neck, and then also her hands, like as they're red, and it like gets more red as you like, especially from a distance, the way the inseaming or whatever it is, like it's very like bloody. It's kind of interesting, and like I think she looks like Cruella de Vil. Like,
I mean, yeah, but it does though. That outfit looks a little bit campy.
Yeah.
And they were talking about her hair too, because it's less Dothraki and more northern looking.
Right.
Like she's trying to fit in, but not quite.
Well, that's probably a smart. If that's true, that's probably a smart thing to do, though. Actually, and we see Sansa do this.
Right. I understand. I would do that too if I was her. Yeah.
Right. Definitely. But she still doesn't. What's interesting is she still doesn't match Jon, and Jon and Sansa still match. That's where I'm like, there's all these weird things that the show's doing, and how they're blocking in the shots. I don't know. Like if it's interesting that Jon and Sansa still match, and just way more than Jon and Daenerys do. And Jon and Daenerys are supposed to be a couple in a relationship.
I wonder if that's because that Jon doesn't know who he is yet, and once Jon does know who he is, I wonder if then their wardrobes will reflect each other more.
I was just about to do the same thing.
That's an interesting thought, Reed. You're probably right. Like if there's going to be this reveal, either I see one or two. Either he's going to go with it, or he's going to be like, nope, I'm a start.
I think he'll always think he's a start to some degree, but I think he's going to be very glad to know that he has parents and accept who he is because of that. I don't think he'll change his name though.
So when Daenerys finds out that that's her nephew, is she going to present him with some Targaryen clothing, like she tried to give her other brother some Dothraki clothing then if she tried to dress like Viserys?
I could see that. Couldn't you?
Yeah, actually I could, like as a way to kind of show that she's okay with it. Present him with something, you know, to wear representing both houses. I actually could see that.
I hope he keeps the fire. Like the wolf
Hope he keeps
pelt.
the what?
The fire, like the wolf pelt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Me too. I think there'll be some change once he finds out, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious as how they'll show that in his wardrobe or his look. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it might be just a small weird thing, but you know, if you really think about it, she tried to present her true brother, that somebody she, you know, as far as we know, is her real brother, some clothing. He totally rejected it, but Sansa gave her brother something that he kind of embraced. So maybe that's supposed to be symbolic. If Daenerys gives him something and he takes off Sansa's item to put on hers, I don't know. Is that crazy?
I don't think, I mean, I could see that would be the symbolism. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but that would be the symbolism that they would use. I don't know. I'm a Johnson shipper though. So like, I don't want that to happen.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. I mean,
what are you guys' thoughts about the sword though? Because we know that Mormont had the pommel made for it to look like Ghost, and the real one was melted off. Now, I've always kind of wondered if maybe it was really black fire underneath. Has anyone else ever wondered that?
I've wondered that too. And Blackfire was a bastard sword. Was you know, it was the right size.
Maybe it like Ghost could like get broken off of it and it would be revealed as Blackfire or something like that. You guys maybe click on that. I know we're talking about Sansa, but yeah.
I would love for it to be Blackfire. I want to know, like, how did the Mormonts get it? There's something up with that sword.
Well, even how Jorah reacted, he was just like, okay, he looked at it and he's like, may your sons and all that cherish it or whatever, you know. So it didn't seem to affect him very much.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Or did they have it for like 500 years in their family or something?
Yeah,
like that?
That's what he said. But that's what he said.
I mean, I could be wrong, but you know, that's what
I'll be right back, y'all.
What I thought I read.
Yeah, no, he did. He said 500
That's
years.
right, but I don't think it would be Blackfire. Am I alone?
No, I agree. But it just because of the age, I'm just saying, just because he said that doesn't mean it actually could be. You know, he could have just told John that because he had it at the wall. You know what I mean? And like with Benjen and everything else, he possibly, you know, it's like they were waiting for John. You know? So he might have just said that in the way, and I'm going to by how Jorah looked at it, you know, because Jorah just kind of looked at it and he was like, yeah, whatever. Here you go. You know, he didn't want it back. It just didn't really. It would just be kind of cool.
Jorah didn't want it back because of like
the shame,
you know, the shame of bearing it, and it was taken away from him and everything. It would be like dishonorable.
Peter Griffin said, "Give him some Valyrian armor." Yeah. I agree. That would be awesome, and I think that's kind of what everybody has been wanting.
Well, doesn't Euron in the? And I don't want to spoil anything for Bran.
Yeah.
Don't worry about spoiling it for me. Just say what you want to say.
Euron is supposed to have a suit of Valyrian steel armor. Yeah. So, like, that could be in the books somehow. John gets the armor because I'm like, where would it come from? You don't just get Valyrian steel armor. You have to like. You know, like that's a lot of metal.
At this point, where is it going to
I agree with you, Connie. Super. I just think he just left it because he knew he didn't deserve it, and also because he never had it. His father, I don't think, had not already given him the sword before his stuff. We don't know. So I think you know, it's easier to part with something if it never was yours.
Right. And
Like, if he
Carrie
had
said
never been
too that
presented with it to begin with, he would be. I think, you know what I mean. I think if he wasn't ever presented with the sword to begin with, I think he was, you know, he wasn't really attached to it, and
then it wouldn't make a difference to him.
right. And I think he's let go of that. I want to get back. You know, that's
Well,
you know, and she told him, "I'll get you home," but what, Liz?
I don't know if she's there.
Yeah.
Carrie says at Ree.
Yeah, he had forgotten that the sword was in his chambers until it burnt with Commander Mormont. Yeah, and that's something that he did say, and that it was, he had totally forgotten that it was in there, you know, that he had it even. And that's something that I just kind of wonder too, because it's like with Benjen, with Aemon, and with the Lord Commander, you know, I don't know. That goes into my little conspiracy theory with, they think that John, they knew that he was coming, and it was all waiting, Blood Raven, all that stuff, you know.
Maybe Blood Raven orchestrating things.
Right, yeah.
The sword, though, brings up an interesting thing that take us back to the teaser, is the you know, at the end of the teaser they had the different words and they said succession, and like it was, and I can't remember if it was over a Game of Thrones thing or over a different clip or whatever, but this idea, like, what did they mean? I thought that was an interesting choice paired with the clip that they showed. And then, you know, we're talking about this sword and this idea of, like, you know, John's identity and succession and all that. Like, I just thought that that was an interesting choice for the tease of words. I don't know what you all thought.
Going back a couple teasers ago, whenever they released the one where they had all the things on the painted table and the ice was coming from the north and the fire was coming from the south. Like, I have this hope that John will just become king with Dany, and then, like, Sansa will get Winterfell. But with that new wall thing in the middle of Westeros, I don't think Winterfell is going to be anybody. So,
like, you think Winterfell is just going to get completely wiped off?
Maybe not wiped off, but it's gonna. I feel like based on that, I mean, it looks like they made a new wall at the neck because we know the old wall is down now.
You know what it made me think about? It made me think about that. Speaking of, just how you just brought that, it made me think, like Winterfell ending up like the Fist of the First Men, as in buried by snow, and then that teaser trailer with the new dragon glass wall, so to say. I guess, is that what we're calling it? I don't know.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I didn't notice it.
Okay, well, it looks like it's made out of dragon glass. So it made me wonder if that's what the wall that's up in the north, if that's what the base of that is from, because they talk about the magic being woven in it and all that other stuff. What if at the base too is dragon glass, where the first long night happened?
That's possible. If you read, have you read Fire and Blood? You read it
a few times.
Like, there's definitely something up, because like Alisane's dragon, and this clip was released online too, or this excerpt, and Alisane's dragon, Silverwing, can't actually like go across the wall. Like, there's like some force field that keeps the dragon from going north of the wall. When Alicent,
I don't know if she can't or if she just won't, but she won't.
Right.
Times, yeah.
So there's something up, and it could, I don't know, like that harkens to like how the wall was created and that teaser clip. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. So that brings, there's a lot of new questions too, because of Fire and Blood. Yeah, me and you talk about that one soon.
Yeah.
The shivers. Oh. Oh. Yeah. And okay, so yeah, let's get back on Sansa now because we're getting a little distracted on all kinds of stuff. Um, so we didn't hear much about um Tyrion. What do you guys think that he has talked about? You know, like with Sansa. Like, do you think Danny's gonna have a good impression about her? Thank you, baby. Um, like going in, like, because all right, we know Sansa. Okay, Sansa's not excited about her coming in general, but just where we don't see Tyrion, do you think it's because he's like, I guess this is still not really Sansa, huh? But do you think it's because he's off like plotting, or she didn't want him to see her, or what's going on with that? Is it why isn't he there?
Well,
No, he's there.
Tyrion and
But we just
Cersei
didn't get
had
to
that
see
little
him or whatever.
conversation, didn't they?
I think he's there.
If he's not there, he's either probably in King's Landing with Cersei, because I don't think that he's stupid enough to know, like, to believe that
Yes,
Cersei's going to come help. He knows that she's going to backstab him somehow. So I think he's off trying to stop that somehow.
I like that idea. So you think that he's going to be like where he was like plotting with Cersei? Now you think he's going to change his mind?
I don't know, like, if they're necessarily plotting together or if he's like entertaining her ideas but also trying to talk her out of stuff and like get inside secrets so that Danny knows how to combat it.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if Tyrion has talked much at all about Sansa to Daenerys, because I think Tyrion underestimates Sansa, even though he says she's getting smarter. I'm curious if they'll have a scene before the welcome scene that will be Tyrion or Jon or someone talking to Daenerys about Sansa. Like I wonder when this scene falls in the episode, so to know what else is going on.
I mean, exactly. It's such a little clip, truly.
Right.
I mean, right. So it does, they could just be completely hyping this, and this could be the extent of it, or.
Right. But I have written some metas or Cora answers and about sort of the problem. I don't know the problem, but basically Sansa can't really do anything because she's still married to Tyrion, at least in the books. Now, in the show, like, obviously she married Ramsay and there's all this around that. But in the books, she's really, and Littlefinger has this, whole plan in the third book, and that for Sansa to get married off. But even Sansa thinks to herself, well, wait a minute. Actually, it's in the fourth books, but wait a minute. I'm still married to Tyrion.
Right.
And so she really, with Tyrion coming back, I mean, I feel like, and I don't know if the show would at all have time to deal with this, but I think like she has to deal with her marriage to Tyrion one way or another. And Tyrion in the books is very much darker, much more like really all about getting rid of Cersei and all that. So, I can see why he maybe stayed away. Also, he's a little bitter in the books about like Sansa leaving him and like, disappearing after the Red Wedding and him getting the brunt of being framed for it. So yeah, I'm as far as this episode goes, I'm curious as to what Tyrion will say, what their conversation will be like, all of that.
Also, too, if you think about it, he's so in love with Danny, and he's got just a little crush going on for her. He might not even be thinking about Sansa.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think he's thinking of, like, he would be stupid. And this is where I'm like, it's so stupid that Tyrion and Daenerys should have a discussion about Sansa. They should have a discussion about the political situation in the North, because it is unclear once Jon gives up his crown, like, what is Jon? He's nothing. Sansa's Lady of Winterfell. So and like Tyrion's still being married, he has a claim to Winter. I mean, he could make a case for, like that was Tyrion's whole plan. So I can't imagine, like, if I were in that situation and I'm, you know, trying to conquer Westeros, I would have that discussion of,
just to know. And well, Olenna tells him,
like,
tells her
listen,
too, you need to not listen to your hand. That'd be the smartest advice that she had for her. So maybe he's going to tell her even not to listen.
So that, yeah.
I want to bring up something. Carrie's over here talking about Sansa will be queen. Maybe Jon takes control of Winterfell. If we could find Robb's decree that makes Jon the heir and pisses Catelyn off, I can't remember what happened. But she brings up a good point about Robb's will. Now, what if Robb's will does turn up and it actually makes Sansa the heir and makes her the queen, not Jon?
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, I don't. That would be great. I don't think that's what Robb's will do. I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
Why not, Liz? Because look, yo.
Why wouldn't it though?
The thing is, honestly, I don't see the point in him even making a will if he was going to leave Sansa the heir, because that's the way shit would have crumbled down anyway. If there was no male heirs. So unless he's trying to change what would be the natural state of primogeniture, why even make a will?
Yeah.
And I mean, he thought Brandon Rickon was dead at this point too. Remember that? Well, he thought Brandon Rickon were dead, so all he had was Jon and his two sisters.
Yeah, and no one knows where Arya is. And Sansa, right. I think Robb was kind of pissed at Sansa. I mean, Robb, I think pissed is maybe not the right word. I think he just didn't understand why she wrote the letter all the way back in the first book. I think he just couldn't.
Well, Catelyn tells him though that's comprehend your sister's writing, but it's Cersei's words. So he knew right then.
Several people tell him, and I believe Maester Lewin as well tells him that in the show. So. No, no, like he's pissed that she wrote it, but then when he really thinks about it, he understands, well, wait a minute, literally these people are standing over my sister, you know, why she does this. She's a captive. And I you know.
Yeah, he's told that, but I think he still doesn't, I don't know. I just get the feeling that he still's not happy about it. Like he's hurt by it, like personally hurt. And so even though he knows, but he, you know, I think he has trouble with it. And I think, you know, there's this part where he just really doesn't want to give Winterfell to a Lannister, which he sees he would be doing if Sansa was his heir. Like he'd be, Tyrion would. And
I can understand that. And that's why I said, if that will says anything, it disrupts the way that it would, that I think that the succession would go at Winterfell. And that would be by, excluding Sansa and her children.
Yeah.
If the will says it would say that as well, I'm sure, because you know that's the whole point. Is get married, have a kid, then it's half Stark, half Lannister. So I think the will probably does make Jon the heir to Winterfell.
Yeah.
And make him a Stark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, and even then, you know, can still be contested. Oh.
Right. I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, she can make a pretty good case that she is still married to Tyrion Lannister. It depends on by what they're going by. She could also make a case in the North that she was never married to him because she doesn't follow the seven, I think. You know, I mean.
Oh, yeah. She can make a lot of it. Yeah. I mean, I don't think Sansa would make the case that she was still married to him. I think Tyrion might. I think if they were smart, I feel like they would. I don't know. Daenerys and Tyrion were on it, but they also make a lot of mistakes. So,
well, even Robb got to where he started to accept Tyrion later on too. Like after he brought back the saddle plans and he figured it out. You know, he wasn't so bad at first. You know, he was like, because at first he refused to guest right, Jim, and then he did offer him a place to stay. So. Even with her being married to Tyrion, if she was going to be married to any Lannister, I mean, it could be worse.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason I'm so quiet is because I'm not of the belief that Winterfell is even going to be in existence. come next season, really. So I can't argue who's going to have it. If anything, I think Bran might live there, like the old three I've been to, in his place above the wall. That's what I think.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying. Like, okay, to even think, who thinks there's not going to be a Winterfell? I have a hard time with that. I really do.
I'm having a hard time with it too.
I'm having a hard time with that. I haven't really processed like that could be a thing.
Well, I do. I think that it could end up like just to the first men. I think that winter could come and Winterfell could fall. I mean, I do think that could happen. I think that they could end up going into the crypts and the tunnels that Maester Lewin was talking to Theon about to escape Winterfell. But I do think that it's probably not going to survive. I don't see it surviving. I really don't.
I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence. I wonder, because I don't know if Winterfell means like the place where winter fell, wherein winter was defeated, or like you said, Ree, the like Winterfell falls, like just done. So I'm on the fence. I don't know. I really don't know.
Right. And that's how I am with that too. So it's hard for me to really speak to that. I don't mind saying when I'm a bit lost myself with everything. And this is one of those times when I feel really torn about hearing, and I don't do spoilers, but I've heard all the talk about Winterfell's going down or whatever. And oh gosh, I certainly, in the books that I've read, I certainly didn't see that comment or whatever. So that's kind of thrown me a little bit for a loop, and I haven't wrapped my head around that quite yet.
That's when you gotta go sit down and grab some I want to bring attention over here to this chat a little bit for a minute. Septishana said Tyrion doesn't know about the Dorn-shaped birthmark because he never consummated the marriage. And yeah, Tyrion did. He told Jon at Dragonstone that they never did consummate the marriage, so they still haven't. And Carrie said she thinks that there will be survivors still at Winterfell, though. And where will the survivors go?
Either they're the new wildlings who live north of the wall, or they have to find a place south of the new wall.
Ooh, new wildlings. I like that.
Someone's got to be the new wildling.
Yeah, because where it shows us the new wall is like going straight through the Trident, so pretty much everything. So the north would be the true north now, right?
Yeah, if there's anyone up there,
Yeah. So that would be kind of cool. I hadn't thought about that. I like the new wildling situation. What do you guys think about as far as like, because I think everyone on the panel kind of sees or thinks that Sansa is going to end up being the queen. Are we kind of all agreed there?
Yes, for sure.
I don't know if she'll be like the queen. If Dany's alive, no. But if Dany dies, then yeah, I would love for Sansa to be the queen.
My husband just walked by and said, "Queen of the Dead."
Another theory I heard was queen, like a queen of ice and queen of fire, sort of having like these two, like Sansa's queen of ice and Daenerys' queen of fire. I'm not really into that idea. I just want Sansa to be queen, but I don't know. It's interesting to think about that one too. A sort of.
See, and I love Dany. I love Targaryens. I'm a full Targaryen, but I think Sansa is going to be the younger, more beautiful queen that's going to get Cersei.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she's definitely the younger, more beautiful queen. And I mean, that gets into my whole Valonqar theory, but...
Oh, yeah. And if you think about... All right, let's think about the trailers last year. It was a lot of focus on... We've seen a lot of the Night King, but then it was a lot about Sansa or not Sansa, Dany and Cersei. And it was about the two queens going at each other. And that was a lot of the focus last year because Dany came over and she was going up against Cersei. They had war against each other. So already it's already focusing on Sansa and Dany. So that makes me think that it's like game on for them two now this season. And that makes me think Cersei's kind of not really going to be important and probably going to be out of the picture a little early, I think.
Well,
I think that, Sansa would be a really good weapon for Dany against Cersei. Because Cersei's not dead yet.
Oh, no.
And Sansa, hates Cersei probably more than she hates Dany because she's never even met Dany.
That's a good point, Brian. No, Etta.
you know the foreshadowing.
You're breaking up again, Liz. We can't even hear you. Okay, in the chat we got, I believe the story begins and ends with the Starks, and Winterfell is crucial to the Starks' legacy. Therefore, Winterfell will survive. However, it is possible it will need to be rebuilt. And that is true.
Cleo.
If you look at all the places that Winterfell's been built on too,
the broken tower.
Right.
It's been
that and the crypt's
before.
part. And how many winters has it survived?
Yeah, definitely. I hope Winterfell survives. The other point I was going to make, back to the queens fighting each other. Littlefinger has a quote in the books that he tells Sansa, like, something like the realm is not ready for the war of the three queens. And Sansa thinks to herself, what the hell is he talking about? She doesn't understand. And I think, like, we could be seeing the war of the three queens, like, in this season. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I know what you're talking about when he's got all these grand plans to reveal her as a Stark during the Harding wedding, and then he says it's in that, I think in that little dialogue that he says something like that, and she thinks he's just trying to. At this point, she still thinks, that he's just trying to make her a good match or whatever. But the truth is, he's got a much bigger picture.
Right. And but this, at the time, like, we think the War of the Three Queens is Cersei, Marjorie, and then maybe Daenerys. But, like, I think it's, possibly Cersei, Sansa, and Daenerys.
Marjorie was a misdirect.
Right. Exactly. For Cersei and for the audience.
I was just thinking that for Cersei too.
Carrie has a question.
I just was reading that. Bear with me, sorry. Do y'all think Tyrion could possibly end up king? Tons of foreshadowing. I'm thinking of when Jon first meets him and describes his tall shadow. That's one example. Or is Tyrion going to betray Dany and die? That is a good question. And yeah, we hear about Tyrion's tall shadow a lot, and even a lot about him being power and how good he was as hand of the king and just ruling. We hear how good he is ruling. So that is a good question. And yeah, I wondered too if he would rule with Sansa. I see where Bran's already talking about that. I could see them ruling together, especially where they've already were married and all that other stuff. And they would be good ruling. I think they would be good. I don't know that he will make it that far, though. I kind of think that he's going to end up. I think he's going to end up betraying Dany one way or the other. I don't know if he's going to die for it, though. What do you guys think? Brady, you want to go ahead and start on that one, being you think Tyrion and Sansa for the throne?
I mean, that's a good idea, but I don't see Tyrion betraying Dany.
I can see him doing it for his family. The things we do for love, as Jamie says.
Yeah, but he doesn't really like his family. The only one he likes is Jamie.
Yeah, but remember how he looked when he was watching the Dothraki just tear him apart on the wagon train battle there at Tumbleston? That's what worries me. Just watching the destruction of his house. It's not necessarily about love for Cersei or anything like that. It's about the destruction of the Lannisters in general. He don't want to see them all fall.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, I think, I don't think so. I think Tyrion's a hot mess, and I think he will either betray Dany, betray Jon and Sansa. I think he's just, whether it's for his family or for some other reason. Yeah, I think Tyrion's gonna just make a mess of things, and I think the destruction. I don't know if he's even gonna make it out of the series, but maybe. But I don't think he's gonna rule in any shape.
How about you, Jen?
I mean, I didn't think he would betray Daenerys for Cersei. I really don't. I mean, if he would do that, I could see him kind of siding with Sansa over things more. Honestly, I don't see him betraying Dany for Cersei. Now, going to the books, my mind can't go there right now. It's getting too deep. But for the show, I just, man, I didn't think that. I didn't think, I really thought, and now he's got Jamie coming over to the side he's on, which is who he did really still love in his family, truthfully. I mean, he has a certain, but I think he knows that no matter what he ever does, him and Cersei can't be cool. She'll always be who she is. And I think he knows that. So I would find it hard to believe that in the show that Tyrion is going to betray Daenerys for Cersei when Jaime's already come over to their side. I don't see it.
See, and what worries me is that Jaime won't get there in time. Like, he'll do something stupid, and then Jaime will get there,
I mean, the way all the actors were talking about the show and the way it's going to go, like, it's going to blow my mind. I can't ever decide if they're just trolling us or if it's, like, for real. Like, if they were like, wow, I never saw that themselves. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. But I don't see him betraying Dany. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't know how much. I think it's more like kind of maybe what Ree was saying. Like, he could do something stupid before Jaime comes over. And I think Cersei, like, I don't think he'll do anything for Cersei, but I think he's got concerns about Daenerys, and maybe he gets jealous. Maybe there's something, or maybe he wants to reinstate his marriage to Sansa and get Winterfell, like, or see it as a way of getting control of Winterfell. Like, I think there's something he's going to try to do that to him will make logical sense, but will really mess everything up. That's what I think. I don't know what that thing is. I don't know, but I think he's just, and I'm a little influenced by the books because he's really a mess in the books. Like by the end.
I mean,
and as Connie says, you wound me, brother. You know how much I love my family. And Carrie says, Tyrion will never trust Cersei. Have y'all talked about what went on in the meeting he and Cersei had the last season? That's kind of why we're lingering on this about whether or not he'll betray his family, because he had that meeting with her. We don't know what they talked about. And then he had the crazy look when boat sex was going on. So nobody still really knows what that's about. And here's what I'm worried about. It's jealousy. Jealousy will make people do crazy stuff. So what if he does something in a fit of jealousy? Because, all right, we've seen how he got all, like, mushy looking and gave her that sideways look when she said, oh, I don't want to be queen of the ashes. That was something that he said. Then he got kind of butthurt when she yelled at him on the beach because she listened to him, and she's like, I'm not going to listen to you anymore. Then she turned around and asked Jon, well, what do you think I should do? So she's turning her back on Tyrion already, looking more to Jon. Then he does something good, and he's the one that saved him after Jon said, no, I already bent my knee to Dany. And he's the one that helped him out with Cersei. We don't know what he did. And then now Jon could be screwing that up again. That could be pissing Tyrion off. So who knows what Tyrion's doing. Tyrion could be doing something against Jon even, not even directly at Dany. And, you know, I mean, we just don't know what he's doing is the point. But there's something shady going on there.
Yeah,
and, I agree. Yeah, so... And,
I don't think so. Hey, Sanchez. I mean,
it's on mine, Sanchez.
I don't feel like the look he gave during boat sex. I don't think it was jealousy. It was more like,
I don't know if it was jealousy, but we don't know what it was. That's the point. I mean, I don't know if it could be concern or worry.
Yeah.
Or what? I'm worried about him getting jealous. I'm just saying that's something that could happen because we know how he feels about her, and now there's this new guy. And just look at how he reacted whenever she's like,
I don't think he was.
Dario, Khal Drogo, and Jon Snow.
I don't think he was really in love with her. I think he maybe had a little thing for her. Everybody does. She's very magnetic. She's beautiful. She has dragons, but I really don't think, I think he had a little crush on her, and now he's just like, oh, fuck, because what could make anything more complicated than going to fight the undead in the north? Y'all screwing while you do it, It's just not a good idea. And, and he does, and then like we're talking about, we don't get this dialogue or whatever, but he does know this is still, this ain't even a done deal yet. Like, we've still got to go, we've got Jorah coming back. There's a lot of stuff going down between multiple people. Just, tensions are already running high is what I'm saying. And now they in there screwing.
Right. Well, this could also kind of break him of the little fantasy he has with her.
Exactly. It might have actually been the best thing that could have happened to Tyrion if he did have a crush on her. Was
right. And it might be it might bring it back full circle to season 1. And Tyrion, the reason we don't.
What's the best way to secure alliances? He's the one who said that. And and she agreed, and they agreed on this. And he didn't tell her to do it. But, I mean, she went and did exactly what he wanted her to do, basically.
Yeah.
Russell.
And he was concerned about who would be her heir. And hey, Sanchez, welcome. Glad you made it. Better late than never.
Says it was jealousy. Russell says jealousy.
Preach, honey, preach. That way. But see, now it might bring him back full circle to episode 1 of season 1, where the reason we don't see Tyrion is because he visited the whorehouse in Wintertown. So,
okay, so Arya's late to the. I'd like to see where this goes. Arya was late to the first introductions with Robert Baratheon, and then Tyrion wasn't there.
Yep, he was playing with Roz and the other girls.
So
and Jamie showed up there, so that would be kind of fun if Jamie does show up there. Yeah. Like, I'm really interested to see just how much it does parallel the first episode. That would be fun.
Yeah, I wonder if there's like a scene like afterwards where John's like, I want to go to the crypts and like pay his respects. And Daenerys is like, well, why now? You know how like that interaction between Robert and Cersei. I want to know if they'll play out something like that with Jon and Daenerys, and John's kind of like,
Well, see, I wondered if it would be. I'm wondering if it'll be like Jon, not necessarily Bran, because how's he going to get down there? Hodar's not there, but Jon and Sansa now. Because she is like the head of Winterfell now. She stepped into the Ned role. So maybe they go down there and she's the one that tells them or something. Or someone else.
Huh. A crypt conversation. And we have been getting a lot of conversations down there in those crypts too, by the way.
Well, that was where she had a reunion with Arya
last year.
Yeah. She had a reunion with Arya. He choked out Littlefinger. There's always stuff popping off in the crypt. So yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if he'll tell Daenerys this is not your place. Like he told Littlefinger that because it's really not. It's not.
Carrie, what do y'all think about the John and Danny scene, or Danny and John scene? I read that back. I'm sorry. I think it was just a little. I don't know. It was weird. It wasn't as bad as the Missandei and Grey Worm scene.
Oh
so
God,
I can do both sex any day now.
Amen, sister. I mean, good
right.
Lord.
That one, I'm just like,
fast forward Game of Thrones, but let me just say, when I'm rewatching that episode, I fast forward that shit. Jesus,
I feel uncomfortable for them. It's like, oh, bless your heart. That's just
right.
Yeah, I just don't
that's how I feel as well.
Now, okay, this is really silly, but I'm a chick, so I gotta say this. Was anybody else wondering where the rest of Sansa's eyebrows were?
What?
Russell?
Yeah, Russell, do you want to be on the live stream?
No, but
we were talking about the sex between Missandei and Grey Worm and how uncomfortable it was.
Uncomfortable. I love it's uncomfortable.
This is what happens when Russell gets home from work early. You know that you're infringing upon my time.
Did he prefer that one, or did he prefer Danny and John? Which one was more?
Think was more awkward, the Missandei and Grey Worm, or the Daenerys and John scene?
No, I'll go way back. It was when the two dudes were standing there and they went down on each other and shit.
When Renly and
what are you talking about?
I have to go back to like the third.
No, he's talking about Renly and Loras. Whenever Loras was shaving him, I know what he's talking about.
That's okay. You know, here's what I'll say.
Go down on you and he did. Oh God, that was really awkward. I didn't want to. Yeah.
You know, I'll say about.
You know what I'm talking about now?
No, please go away.
Their own sex.
You know why that scene bothered me? Because he didn't shave his other armpit.
Seems like they're.
I can't.
Like, come on, Loras, you forgot one.
I can't. I had to put my headphones on. Good Lord.
Oh, okay.
They're all.
Oh my God, y'all cracked me up.
Sorry, Brian.
Sorry, Brian.
Stop.
Well, you asked me.
No, I didn't ask you.
Carrie noticed her eyebrows. See?
Yeah. Oh my God.
See, the things like that I noticed because it really bugged me. I'm like, where's the other half of her eyebrows? I love Sophie Turner too.
They did a bad eyebrow job, you think?
Did you know? Seriously, when I watched that clip of that whole trailer, I'm just like, where's the other half of her eyebrows? Because they like ended right here.
You know, I think
I kind of thought the same thing, and I was curious about that because I thought everybody had their eyebrows done in fake nowadays.
Yeah, they're all thick and stuff. Like they got them caterpillar eyebrows, and it's like, why doesn't she?
Right.
I mean,
right.
I'm freaking. This is my eyebrows thick right now. These are like a mess. So when I see them like really thin anymore, it's crazy, especially on someone young. But yeah, I was like, where's the other half of them?
That's usually like Sansa's makeup is so. I really love how they do her makeup.
Yeah.
You know, I think they do, and they kind of make her look very like it's very contrast to Daenerys's makeup, which. You know, especially in recent seasons, like Daenerys's makeup is very like full on, like dramatic, you know, and I think Sansa's is a little more, I don't know, glistening or something. I don't know. It's just different.
I've noticed, in this might be just me and being a little bit crazy, but if you pay attention, they kind of match their houses. Like Cersei's makeup will kind of resemble like a lioness. And Sansa sometimes is kind of wolf-like, and we get Daenerys with the dragon-like. And it's the colors and the shading and everything. Even how they do like the cat eyes on them and stuff. It's kind of really cool.
Yeah,
and I don't know if I'm the only person that pays attention to stuff like that.
No, everything about everything the from the jewelry to the costumes to the makeup to the hair. Sometimes the extensions can look a little bit too much, you know, where you know it's fake. But
yeah, they get the little hair laying down here on the wigs hanging out. Yeah, that bugs me.
And when it's just longer than it possibly could be.
Oh, I love the like old lady drawing on eyebrows where they don't have them no more. My aunt used to have them like the little. She'd do it in red, like it was just bless their hearts. That's gonna be me. I'm gonna be a crazy old lady. I can't wait. Um, let's see. I know there was something else. Oh, okay. So, like, all right. Now we know that Brienne is like right there with Sansa. Now I've thought about this before, like as far as Sansa having her own Queen's Guard, and Brienne kind of being like her Lord Commander. And if Arya actually fully on survives, I can see her being like her sworn sword sort of thing too. In Fire and Blood we have what's her name? I can never say that name right. The one.
John Keel.
Thank you. I can never say that name. Drake, the Darkling girl. Dark, not Drake.
Dark.
Yeah. And she was Alisane's sworn shield. And I thought about Brienne and Arya with her. You probably did too, didn't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, especially Brienne, and even the way it's set up in that shot, like Brienne is like right behind Sansa, and the whole thing with Jonquil Dark was that she was Alisane's shadow. Like she was always behind her. She was always
right, like, her red shadow.
Yeah. So like I'm like, oh, that's really interesting, and the way it relates to Brienne. I mean, I think that's a huge parallel between Alicent and Sansa, like there.
The shadow part made me think of Arya, actually, because Silent has a shadow and all that stuff.
Oh, so, good point. Good point.
Right. And the training where her father actually had her do the training made me think of both of them. Because it was Ned and it was Brienne's father that had them do the training. They both, let them train, which was rare in general. But we're starting to see more and more of these women that are popping up with training. In fact, there was one in White Harbor that they had. That she fought against too. So it's got me thinking of who else could be as her Kingsguard. We know that the Hound is going back. He's in the north now too. He's going back. Do you guys think that he's going to swear his sword to Sansa, or is he going to be like Arya's sworn sword? Because I gotta think he'll do Sansa too. I think, like in my mind, I'm seeing her own little Kingsguard forming. Even with Jamie, I see Jamie being like her Kingsguard. Because he was, if you think about it, he is a former Kingsguard. So Tom and Cersei, and well, not really Cersei, but Tom and Kevin had him removed, right? So, and he did promise to protect him to Catelyn. He had the promise to Catelyn. So who better to go protect, Right. But if you start thinking about it, we can start counting up these different shields for her.
Yeah, definitely. And also, Brienne has Oathkeeper, which is part of ice, and Jamie has Widow's Wail, which is also part of ice, like the two parts of ice.
Right.
So, like those coming together to protect Sansa and Arya, or however it works, I think is very symbolic.
And we know that Arya doesn't really need protection, and we see how Brienne and Sandor are kind of proud of that too. So that makes me even think. That's why I lean more towards him swearing his sword to Sansa. That he'd want to protect her more. I see him being around Arya, and the reunion and all that. I can't wait for that reunion.
Yeah,
I'm probably more excited about that than most.
Right.
But him actually protecting someone, and he was protecting her even back in King's Landing. In fact, and I'm interested to hear what y'all think about this one, because I know there's all the sand people out there. But he actually cloaked her first, even on the show.
Yeah.
So,
Sandor?
Yeah. Whenever he gave
her the white cloak, yeah.
Yeah, Joffrey was having Sir Meryn beat her and yank her clothes off in the throne room, and Sandor walked over, yanked his cloak off, and covered her up on Tyrion's orders at that. So, what do you guys think as far as that? Do you think there's going to be any sand stuff going on in this show? I know that it's last season, but it's supposed to be like 6 movies, so there's a lot that could happen.
I'm going to say yeah. Yeah. I do think there's going to be at least a moment. Yeah, for sure.
they've had enough moments to set it up where we could possibly. I mean, just their little brief encounters and close calls,
I
and
certainly hope there's gonna be. I
after
mean,
Blackwater.
but yeah, the way he left it, and I don't know, when you read the books, the way she perceives what happened and the way he perceives what has happened is completely different. And I don't think he actually ever kissed her in the book. When you're reading it. I don't think he ever did. But that's the way she remembers it. So she's the one romanticizing him.
Yeah.
So definitely can't wait for that reunion. I mean, definitely the Sandor Clegane Stark sister reunion. That's going to be interesting. And also the same with Jon, because he has such a different dynamic with each of them.
Yeah, I agree. And well, him with Arya is going to be great. I know everybody's waiting on that one because they haven't seen each other since he gave her Longclaw.
Well, how about Arya and Gendry? What's that reunion going to be like?
Oh, yeah, I can't wait for that one. That's his lady.
You think so?
Yeah, that's his lady. I just think that they're meant to be. And okay, Ned and Robert, back to season 1, episode 1. That's another callback, and I think that their reunion will be in this episode, in the first episode, or we're gonna call it this episode. Is it good, or do we think it's the first episode that's gonna happen?
I don't know. I don't think. I think so.
I think it's the first episode.
I do too. So yeah, I think that they're going to, where Ned and Robert talked about our son and our daughter will join, blah blah blah, and Sansa was all excited about marrying Joffrey. I think this is where we're going to see kind of that come back, but it's going to be about Arya and Gendry getting married this time. I don't necessarily think, it's going to happen in the very first episode.
You know what? I like that. I like that. And I've heard people say that, specifically, I heard somebody last night say that they do think the Sansa Gendry thing's going to happen. And I really would hope that it would be, I don't know. I think Arya would kind of feel some kind of way about that.
Not Sansa. I don't think it was Sansa.
No. I know. And I like the way you're saying. I mean, that I would prefer that it be like that, but nothing ever happens the way I want it to happen. So if there is going to be a Gendry hookup, I would like, and I look at that, that conversation that Ned had with Arya when she was adamant that she wouldn't do any of the things that he was talking about, like marry a lord and and she was like, no, I won't do that. That's not me.
Yeah.
I think you can also look at that as maybe that's exactly what does happen to her, because so many times the things that you want or what you expected for your life in this, that's not what you get at all. You get something completely opposite. So I can see how that could really go either way. And you could say, it was foreshadowed.
And I agree too. And that is exactly foreshadowed. And because he said to her, and you'll be a princess and all this other stuff. If she married Gendry, that's exactly what she'd be, right?
Mm-hmm.
She could be a princess.
Yeah. I mean, as long as somebody legitimizes him, I mean,
I see. I wonder how that'll shake out in the books, because like there's other of Robert's bastards are still alive. So I'm curious about that in the books. Like I think in the show, Gendry's all that we have.
Exactly. Gendry is, and that's the person who made this point last night. It was Tony Teflon, you guys, but he was saying in his live stream that he thought in the show Sansa would end up with Gendry, and it's because he represents the character of Edric Storm. Well, and it made a lot of sense. What he said made a lot of sense because of the way that he rounded it out because of the book. But I
could see that. But then the show, like, I feel like they kind of messed that up.
Yeah, I do too.
Combining Gendry and Edric Storm's character into Gendry. So I don't know. I feel like if Sansa was going to end up with Edric Storm, he would be on the show in some way.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying. Like, if that's who, well, see, that's why it makes sense though, because we do have to remember that in the show, we just don't get We just don't get as much as we get in the books.
Right.
Oh, yeah, never.
It's the bare bones, right? But they have to end the same. Like that's the assumption is that, you know, it's pretty much going to be the same. And I feel like a big enough deal, it's got to show up.
You broke up again, Liz.
So,
and then you're back. Okay.
Now you're back.
Or not. It goes in and out on her like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it does. It's that Canadian internet. It's that Canadian internet. But that's okay. I mean,
oh, there we go.
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Are you back?
Break up.
That's okay. Yeah, I don't think that they're gonna. I don't see her marrying. I don't know if anyone on the show. I just see her marrying Tyrion and staying married to Tyrion. I don't see her marrying Gendry or anyone else, really. Not Sansa.
Sansa's gonna marry Jon. What are you talking about?
See, I can't even see that. And I've tried. I just
that's my problem too. I'm having problem with another wedding. You know what I mean? But I mean that's
I mean, I know. I wish that I hate that she had the wedding to Ramsay because it's like not like it's too many weddings. But so maybe the show won't actually. Maybe they'll just imply that they're gonna get married.
I don't know. Go stand in front of the heart tree like Rob did.
Yeah, I mean, I just see like the way, especially the way they're framing in these two teasers, like showing, you know, Jon and Sansa, and then Jon and Daenerys in the Entertainment Weekly photo, and then we've got like the three of them in this new clip. There's something. I mean, it looks like a love triangle to me, and how that all shakes out, and if they go all the way with it, I don't know, but there's something up. I
agree with that, Liz, because I was really surprised that that's what they gave us. I really was, and I think a lot of people were.
Yeah, and the way it's kind of been blocked out, like if you look at the shots, like it's very triangle-esque, like they're in, or even the way in the
well, that could be more of a power struggle though.
Cover, like article in the insert, they had
say that again, Liz.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what about the article and the insert?
Oh, I can't hear.
Tell us again about the article and the insert.
Oh, that time just chopped up really bad too.
Yeah, that sounded more like an alien.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm back. My internet is terrible.
That's perfect. Say it now.
Okay.
It's really I don't know if it's my internet or my computer, but they don't like me. So.
What was you saying about the article with the insert?
Oh, the article. Not the insert, but the Entertainment Weekly article. Like on the inside, the way they laid out the pictures. There was like a very obvious, and maybe I'm just seeing things, but like a triangle. Like you had like Daenerys and Jon next to each other in a photo, and then below that Sansa, and Jon's eyes were like looking down towards like where the Sansa picture was. And like there was, I think also the Daenerys Jon picture was on like the crease. So there was like a crease going through them, separating them. So it's very, I mean, you know, who knows? But like just the way they're laying things out, like visually.
Like she's going to come between them and be a problem.
Yeah, or something. Something's gonna come between them, and that there's this triangle. And you know, you have to remember the three treasons, right? There is
treason for love.
Right. And like, to me, there has to be like, Daenerys has to be in love with the person who commits the treason for love. Like, there has to be, that's what a treason.
I agree.
And John loving his family is, because.
Right. So even if it's not Sansa John being together, like, he loves his family, and I mean, he's going to do whatever to save them. So I don't know.
No, and that's a good point, because they haven't really given us anything on a basis, really, I don't think, for romantically for John and Sansa. But as far as like in a family sort of way, no, that is perfect. And that would be the perfect treason as far as the House of the Undying Prophecy and all that for Dany and all that, and where that would fall in, because she's definitely in love. Even that's just the perfect description for that look she has, is a lovesick puppy. She's just got that stupid silly look on her face, and I don't see, Sansa's already not okay with just him kneeling and being okay with everything. Now I think when John gets there, it's going to be like whenever she kind of stood up against him in front of the lords again, but maybe this time it'll be more private. But then it's going to come up too about, does Sansa know that who he really is yet? Has Bran told that? We know Bran knows. We know Sam knows, but has he told Sansa and Arya?
You guys in the chat, Connie Super is pointing out, in the show, the House of the Undying did not have that prophecy.
Yeah, but I think it's still important.
Right.
I certainly think about it a lot.
Well, it's still everyone does, and it's still, all the stuff is kind of unfolding. If you look at, I mean, we don't have Quentin on the show either, or a lot of other stuff, but we still have a lot of everything happening. Another thing I want to bring up too, because we were talking the other day about the Long Night, and I was telling Cammy about the Lion and Night and just all that mythos and all. What if, and I was trying to explain to her about the whole blood betrayal and how there was a blood betrayal that brought in the Long Night,
Right.
And this is just something I thought of like the other night. What if the blood betrayal is because of Sansa, because technically she is a Lannister being married to Tyrion. So it could be because of her, even not necessarily because of Jaime or Cersei. We're thinking about them.
That brings the Long Night, you know?
Yeah. Okay, because all right.
You're thinking the whole time, you're thinking that the betrayal for love is going to be Tyrion going back to Jaime or whatever, but he doesn't have cause.
Cersei even,
he doesn't really even have cause to do that with what we're seeing. But I think he does still have a sense of loyalty and protection towards Sansa, the way shit has been portrayed on the show. I do believe that. I could see him looking, Dany doing something like, remember how upset Tyrion was about her burning the Tarleys. He really didn't want that to happen. And, that's going to have to come full circle too. So.
Well, okay. Now, whenever Jaime was talking to Randall Tarley and he's like, oh, Cersei's going to need a new warden of the South, and who better than you? And then we cut to Sam. It cuts straight to Sam. Now, when they do that a lot with a lot of different stuff that they're talking about in a lot of different scenes, I've noticed this from the very beginning of the show. So that makes me think right there that Sam's going to be the new warden of the South. Do y'all really think Sam's going to care, though, that they got burned? I mean, this guy was an asshole. So I could see him being upset about Dickon, but yeah. His dad, no.
Well, what I think an interesting point about the Tarleys is that it actually, by burning the Randall and Dickon, it leaves Sam's mother and his sister kind of vulnerable. So, and without a lot of protection. So it could be that Sam, and like I said, I don't think the show will necessarily show this, but that Sam could be upset, not just because of his father, but, obviously upset about Dickon, but also like his mother and sister being left really vulnerable. And that, if Daenerys leaves the Dothraki in the Reach, they could get up to their old ways, and without, you know, her there to kind of keep them in line, and that could cause a lot of problems. And so, like I said, I don't think the show will at all get into that. I just don't see that happening there. But I think in the books we could get some stuff like that going on.
I think they're going to sugarcoat the whole fact about the Dothraki in Westeros in general.
Yeah, I agree.
The whole raping and pillaging. Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
And so I think, you know, I don't know what Tyrion could betray. I think Tyrion will do some type of betraying. I don't know if it'll be to Daenerys. I think Jon is going to be the betrayal for love. I just think he is. And I think something happens with Sansa that he has to act. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it's all going to shake out, but.
Well, and Daenerys never had a family. If you think about that, her family was all taken from her and died early. So she's been searching for that family. So that's probably another reason she's like all smiling and stuff too, is she's going to just be open arms welcoming them. So she's kind of going to be blinded by that. And that's going to make her vulnerable in that way, because she's not going to be thinking about, oh, they might be trifling again and be scheming against me, you know? So she's going to be like, oh, I got new sisters and I got new brothers and stuff like that. Not that they might be up to something.
Man, if she thought her first brother was a little bit thrown off, man.
Right? But seriously,
Sansa telling Daenerys, this is Bran. Yo, ever since he got back from over across the wall, like, he sees shit before it happens. Maybe shit that's gone on in the past. I mean,
Bran's like, you looked really nice on your wedding night.
Oh shit! I don't like to see a creepy ass conversation between Daenerys and Bran.
I want that.
Like, man, you really held that horse heart down, girl. Oh shit!
You know, I don't know what. Yeah, Bran's got to say something creepy. Oh, it'd be so good.
Bran is always creepy, man.
Yes, I'm not really though. I just watched that episode the other day when Mira's like, you know,
just drooling on me.
Yeah, and he's like, but I'm not really though. So creepy.
Hey, baby.
Oh, very funny.
Yeah.
What do you think, Bran?
About Bran being creepy.
About Bran being a little bit creepy, and about a Bran and Daenerys conversation. Like, what does that go down like?
I don't know how a Bran and a Daenerys conversation would go down. I don't think he would have good news for her. Be really pissed off and not believe anything that he says.
Y'all think Bran's gonna be the one to let her know? Like, no, actually, Yolova is the heir to the Yolova's nephew.
See, I think that he's gonna tell Daenerys something that is gonna weird her out a little bit, that only she would know, to convince her first. Like he kind of does everybody else like that, and then he's gonna let them know. I'm wondering if it's. I think he'll let Jon. I think him and Sam will let Jon know.
I think John's probably going to say, "Don't tell her."
Do you really?
I really do, because Jon doesn't really care. He never has cared.
Yeah, I don't think
he really. She really cares,
right?
And he really does need her in this battle and need her dragons, and she has already sacrificed one, which is really why, you know, he said, you know what, she wants to rule, I don't. I will bend the knee if she'll come down here and give it her all like she did. And so I think he's going to tell everybody, don't tell her, but she's going to find out in some kind of way. And Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's gonna find out anyways because of, well, if no other reason, from breeding, because she'll actually be able to have a baby, and I do think she'll have a baby. Um, but it's
I
gonna be
think
some way. I don't know.
I wonder if I think Sam is going to spill the beans.
The magical baby.
You want to know how I've always thought, like from the beginning of the show, this was my random idea of how I thought it would always come out about who John was. And I don't know, I don't think it'll necessarily happen anymore, so I'll tell you. But I always thought that Drogon, or one of the dragons, but I think it'd be Drogon, would end up like just blowing fire on him and he would end up unburnt, like Dany does. And that would be like, oh, I guess you are a Targaryen. Because it was always the prophecy, like all the Targaryens, always thought that they could rise from the ashes and live and be a dragon, Like, look at Arya and Bright Flame and all them drinking the wildfire. And Aerys even thought he'd be born again, a dragon, after King's Landing burnt down, right? So I just think that there's going to be someone other than Dany doing blood magic that's going to go through the flames and survive. And like, I kind of thought that maybe, like, even with the books, like it'd be John's body getting burned and surviving, or something like that.
I always thought, especially when the book hit up there where Melisandre's burning people up and shit, I always thought something like, I kept waiting for something like that to go down as well.
Yeah. And he just doesn't get burned. So I think it'd be really cool.
Say that again, Brand.
Yeah.
I've always liked that idea, but then he burns his hand on the lantern in the first book and season whenever he's killing the white.
But you know what? Even with him burning his hand, the fact that he just grabbed it like that and didn't even realize it until afterwards that he burnt himself, I think that was kind of a clue. Because Dany does burn herself. In the book, she gets burnt all the time. But she's okay with it, she just heals. And so it's like, even in the book, she gets her hair burnt off. So it's not like she's not getting hurt by it. She just has more of a higher tolerance for it, I guess.
And let me just say this. As somebody who's been a fry cook, you can get a bit of an immunity to grease burns. I certainly know. I mean, yeah.
Well, I got scars all over me, honey. I know.
I 1,000 funnel cakes in one day at some crazy fair, and I tell you what, you be talking about, having burns all over yourself. So I can see that like in the book, she does kind of think of her, of her powers as more than they may be. And I think sometimes that can be, especially in a situation with pain. But I tell you what, they do go to a lot of trouble to let us know who can burn and who can't. And they do seem to have a bit of more resistance than maybe the average person would have.
Right. And well, there's a lot of focus on it. That's something we learned with Fire and Blood too. And about them getting sick too, their resistance to getting sick and how they don't.
They say in the books, like they say that Oberyn probably had a resistance to a lot of the poisons you get, and the way you get a resistance to things that you work with. And I mean,
but he has dragon blood in him. They had Daenerys from a few generations back that was Targaryen, married into the Martells.
Right.
So they do have dragon blood in them. But John, we know Catelyn talks about he was sick and almost died when he was young. So we do know that he was sick, but we got to remember too, he is half Stark. So I'm kind of curious what it was that he had. I know she said some kind of pox, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it makes me curious because the only thing that we hear about is the Targaryens. One Targaryen princess got the shivers and died, named Daenerys. And that's the only thing we've ever heard about that has harmed any Targaryens. We learned about that in Fire and Blood. And it was during winter. And when winter came, she got the shivers. So I'm really curious about what the shivers is. Back up, girl. And you see Emma trying to creep, right?
I know, right?
Here, come on. Get your time in here and say hey to everybody and be done with it.
Hi. Hey.
I just got out of the shower.
You did? Well, that's good. It's good to be clean.
She started her new school today.
How'd you
All
like
right.
it?
How'd you like your new school, baby?
If I had 10 million hands, I would give it that much thumbs up.
Oh, thank you.
It's actually an old school that her brother went to, but he hasn't been there in a couple of years, so we're really excited. And then my husband's aunt works there too, so that's really cool. So we know everyone.
Cool. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I want to bring up really quick. Connie was saying that first she said Bran is the Winterfell Wi-Fi pod person. You definitely is. And
Yeah,
then she
he is.
said Bran will bring up something only Dany and Jorah will know, which is a good point that only her and Jorah will know. That's like a two-for-one there. Like Viserys' Golden Crown. I like that example. And another good one too would, something about Viserys in general would be good. Or Illyrio. Something about Illyrio, because that would make Varys go, oh shit, too.
Yeah.
So that would add another person in there. I'm kind of interested to see where his loyalties will lie once he gets to Winterfell too, because Tyrion has got me kind of on the fence where he'll go with Sansa, and him and Tyrion kind of go neck and neck. So, and he does know Sansa from Winterfell or from King's Landing. Mm-hmm. We had the letter that Ned wrote to who knows who when he was in the Black Cells that he gave to Varys, and only Varys knows. So I'm kind of curious to see what Varys will do when he gets back to Winterfell and how he'll react to the Stark children, in particular Sansa. What do you guys think as far as how he'll be?
I think he'll just be his usual slanky, creepy Varys personality.
Do you think his loyalties will waver in any way?
Away from the area.
Yeah. Or do you think he'll still think that she's the best for the realm?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't really know either. Because he's always on that realm stuff, you know? Like,
yeah.
I mean, he really does preach that shit hard on the show.
And see, he might get up there and see that Sansa might think that Sansa is a better choice. Sansa, you know.
But what I'm thinking about is what Melisandre told him. Like,
well, me too. That
die here.
Right, that he's gonna die there. So, and if he's gonna die there, that makes me think about what Dany told him: betray me, I'll burn you myself.
Right.
So that makes me think maybe he's gonna betray her, and the way that he can betray her is by
switching sides.
Right. So yeah, and that's where I go. Now, when you think about it, Dany's going to have her purpose. She's got the dragons to fight the Night King, but in the end of the day, what good is the dragons going to be as far as serving the people of Westeros in the realm?
Well,
so maybe Varys we'll see, you know, Sansa's been raised. We've been training her for years. Maybe she'll be better off for the people in the long run once he gets around her.
I just can't think of anything at this point that Varys would have to offer Sansa, though. Like, you know, aside from his advice, I mean, what does he really have to offer, though?
Little birds.
I mean, if he still
little birds, little birds,
okay.
Little birds, and Sansa's got the little birds all the time that she's always wearing. And
well, that is true.
I feel like Varys doesn't have as many birds as he used to. Like Qyburn's kind of taking them over. So, but maybe in the north, I mean, I don't know.
Well, he still does that because he's still getting all his messages around and everything. I think Qyburn's just got some of them under control in King's Landing. But even if you look at the books, Qyburn's information is basically from the docks and common knowledge. He really don't know crap. I mean, he's got the ones on the show that he started giving candy to and all, but
that was so creepy.
Yeah.
I can't eat a fig anymore.
Yeah. Fran, what do you think about Varys going with Sansa and all that? You're kind of quiet over there.
I don't know if I don't know if he'll betray her, but I do want to see him die.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
You know what? I love Varys. I do, but I can't wait. I can't wait. I know we're not gonna see it on the show. I know it's not gonna pay off on the show, but I do think he does have Blackfire ties.
I think so too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
Now, something that me and Connie were talking about, and it's like so obvious. There's so many things that are just like coming really obvious to me that it's like, oh, why didn't I think about that before? Is Varys having faceless men ties? And when you think about him with being the mummer, traveling the free cities, and there's just a lot of little things. And even who was in the black cells and stuff alone too. I mean, there's just a lot of little things, but if you start just connecting dots, I really do think that Varys has faceless men ties too. And with that being said, him going to Winterfell around Arya would be interesting as well. Disguises, yes, his disguises, Connie, because he has all the where he's he's got all the different disguises. Even the people that know him don't recognize him half the time. And it's like he can even change his voice in the books. Remember, it's like his voice even changes a lot.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah.
Rudger, the guy in the black cells, Rudger.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. I think, there's something about that. Maybe he's faceless men ties, but also him being, a black fire ties, like you said, and
could have both though. I mean,
and also him having, I was thinking about this because earlier we talked about blood magic.
Lost you after blood magic.
What is that? A root beer?
Mine?
Yeah.
Ernie, the blessing king's blood.
First time I'm not drinking in a Game of Thrones cup in a really long time. It's a doggy cup today.
Okay, cool. I'll be right back, y'all, to go to the restroom.
Okie dokie. Connie says that she may recall his voice. You broke up again, Liz.
So
there you go.
Does that unlock?
Say that again.
Oh, for me, Oh, so if he burns, does that unleash some blood magic that then, brings someone back to life, or
I've thought that too. I've thought that the reason that he would be burned was for the blood magic purpose, for the king's blood. I think that's why his parts were burned.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how that's, what that does, and I also think Shireen's burning was actually part of what helps Jon get brought back to life. I think the show couldn't explicitly say that for a lot of reasons, but I think that's going to be more apparent in the later books.
I recall his voice when he spoke with Illyrio in front of her while she hid in the skull. Yes, Arya may recall Varys' voice. And that's something I thought about, even no matter what he's wearing, because she didn't see him. And that's going to be really interesting, too, to see their reunion, because she remembers him talking, and she ran and told her father about it. And they were talking about the wolves and the lions going to war and it not being time. And they were actually talking about Dany, too, being pregnant. So, yeah. And something I heard about that scene is at that time, Dance with Dragons had come out and they put that scene in, and they didn't know about the whole young Griff and all that was going to take place. So, and that kind of had a lot to do with his plot. So that was just a little interesting part about that. We might not even add that scene in Game of Thrones if they hadn't known about that.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know what I think about the young Griff. Actually, this isn't the place to talk about
that.
Yeah.
I got opinions on him. I think he's, we'll say that one for later, hon.
I don't know. I'm not. People really love it.
Except my friend request.
Huh?
Brand except my friend request.
What else will say?
Okay?
He said he
said
seen
that.
Brand a friend request.
Oh.
He couldn't request that.
Because it's like, I'm going to send Brand a friend request.
And Steven stuff.
Huh?
And Steven stuff.
And Steven. I guess he's sending out Facebook friend requests. All right, nerd. Okay. Good Lord. I had to mute my microphone.
I thought he was talking about Brand. I was like, what did he say?
He's sending
Brand's
out
Facebook's going off now.
Right, he's sending out Facebook requests on friend requests on Facebook. Good Lord.
Yeah, I was wondering if we'd see Illyria again, but at this point, I don't think we're going to.
You know what? And I don't, I think they changed the way. They didn't really know. I don't know. It seems silly to, we got Illyrio. I thought that we would get him again. I did. I thought that it would come full circle, or so to speak, with everybody that we had seen, or
right.
Or
we need him back. I think they should have him back at least in the final season for something.
I got myself in trouble.
I mean, I wonder if they thought Dany might go to Pentos on her way to Westeros and have something happen with Illyrio, and then that just never happened.
Right, like there just wasn't a payoff for it.
Right. Enough of one. I don't know.
And I always kind of thought maybe, if nothing else, he'd come to Westeros because didn't he want to be Master of Coin or something? Wasn't that like what he wanted? Once she took the throne, he wanted to be Master of Coin.
Maybe I forget that part, but it's possible. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like that's what his story was. Rather, it's nothing. That once that was what he alleged. Rather, Yeah, that's one of them plot holes. I don't know if maybe it was an actor problem or something. It could have been that he's just not coming back. But do you think they'd find someone else like they did with the Mountain recast? Because that's just something that's out there that needs to come back. Let's see, what else do we have going on with Sansa that should be good? Now, as far as I know, with me, I really want her to be the last thing. Well, yes, Miss Kula. I really want her to be the last thing that Cersei sees before Cersei dies. Is there anyone else that because I think that she's gonna have something to do with Cersei's death. Even if she's just there. Because I don't think Sansa's gonna be okay with just letting Cersei just exist. What do you guys think as far as Sansa in relation to Cersei this season?
I think we're getting a showdown. I think I think that relationship needs to come to a head. I'm a believer in the theory that Cersei tries to kidnap Sansa and we get them in King's Landing having some sort of showdown, and that's going to play out. So yeah, I think that Sansa's the younger, more beautiful queen, and that Cersei just underestimated her totally, and it's going to bite, and she's going to be the one. Ultimately, it's going to be because of Sansa that Cersei falls completely. That's my take.
No, I agree.
I hope so too, and that's what I want to see too. And I think a lot of people have missed that in the story, or either didn't want to see it. That Sansa does play such a prominent role in the story. I think a lot of people don't want to see that. Am I off mute?
You're good.
Did you guys know that Popeyes now serves black-eyed peas?
Yeah, I seen it when I went by the other day. They had a big old sign.
Has anybody had that?
I think they've had them, actually. I think they just put the sign up for the New Year's.
They quit serving corn and onion rings.
What? No way, Russ.
They got good onion rings.
Russell said no. He said they quit serving those corns and onion rings. We're such nerds over here. Go away.
As long
Russell.
as they got the fries. I love their fries and
I love that seasoned
they got
fries.
the best biscuits. Oh,
They do have good seasoned fries. Sorry to get off on Popeyes, y'all. Always can eat some chicken, me.
Honey, I was sitting here eating chicken a little while ago. That's what
I love Walmart
and I had my
chicken.
camera off.
Russell makes fun of my parents and me. He's like, "There's two things y'all would do, y'all. Eat Mexican food every night." That's because the Mexican restaurant has liquor. And truthfully, and y'all eat that Walmart chicken. And it's true. We will. We will.
That's where my chicken's from right now is Walmart.
Right.
Brina got me a deli dinner. See my little bag of tater wedges?
I think we're having barbecue chicken for dinner. I'm not sure.
He was making meatball subs. I didn't want them. I don't like meatball subs. They can eat them.
Yeah, I don't like a meatball sub either, really.
Me either. My kid loves them though. Both my kids do. So yeah, I was like, just get me some chicken. Some chicken and tater wedges.
Oh my God.
The dogs keep coming in here and drooling on me, trying to get it too. Yeah, I definitely agree with the whole Sansa being the younger, more beautiful queen, and I think that she is definitely going to play a huge part as far as with Cersei's death. I don't think it's going to be Jaime. I don't. I like the theory with Brienne being the Dallon car. That was good. But even if that's true with Brienne, it could be on Sansa's orders. Even if it's true with Arya, it could be on Sansa's orders. I'd really like it if Sansa did it with her own hands because
I'd really
they're
like
long
for
overdue.
Sansa yeah, I'd really like for Sansa to start doing her own shit.
Yeah, she needs to handle her own dirty work. But yeah, I get that with the Queen's justices and all that stuff like Cersei has, Ilan Payne and whatever, and the Mountain and stuff. But
True.
I get that, but I really think that's going to be what happens to Cersei, and I don't think Cersei will make it the whole season. I think she's going to be more of a loose end to wrap up before we have the big final battle, long night, and all that other stuff happening. Because Sansa's not going to be okay with just, okay, let's just let Cersei lie low. Because now everybody's like, okay, we're worried about the battle in the north. Cersei said she's sending her troops to the north, so we're not worried about it. And now they're all going back to north thinking that, even though we know better. I don't see Sansa even accepting that. Even for a minute while they're fighting or any of that, I don't see her being okay with Cersei just setting in the minute. She's going to be like, yeah, that bitch is plotting. No, we're not just going to leave her while we're doing all this other stuff. Sansa's going to want to be more proactive and just deal with her and be done with it.
Yeah.
She's done seeing the red wedding happen. What can happen to all these people at a wedding? She's been at the purple wedding with Joffrey. She's seen what can happen at that wedding. She's seen what happened to her father. I mean, she's been around King's Landing for how long and seen all that stuff. She can very easily go in and just wipe the problem out without a huge war. In other words, she don't need a big giant battle at King's Landing. They don't need to kill all these people. She can just go in and assassinate her really easily, basically. You know?
Yeah. Mm. I think there's a point. Tyrion has a quote in I think the third season, or no, it's after Joffrey's death, and so he basically says, Sansa's not a killer, at least not yet.
Yeah,
he does.
Great foreshadowing there.
Bless you.
Thank you.
And that's the payoff that I think we're all waiting for, is to see her turn into a killer now. And that's like when he's at Dragonstone, Jon goes to Dragonstone, and Tyrion tells him, about she's starting to let on how smart she is now, Yeah. So, yeah, we're starting to see the payoffs on Sansa now. So season 8, we should for real see her full blown with all her training. We know Arya's had all her training. We should see her full on now too. I mean, this is like all the seasons payoff now, right?
I know, it's exciting.
I know.
Exciting. I'm getting excited. It's getting close. It's getting within sight.
It is. And all this
You know
time
what I
I've been
mean?
trying to stay away from spoilers, and now it's getting really hard. I'm like,
Right,
I don't know if I can do it.
It's totally in sight now. Thank you. Thank you, Joni.
Oh, that's my mom. Hi, mommy.
Yeah, it's finally in sight. You know, we can finally see a finish to this, and it's exciting, and I'm just
definitely.
super excited and ready. And I think I know a little bit how things are going to go, but Game of Thrones always surprises me, and that's one of the reasons that I love it so much. And I just hope the hype is real.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I think it's going to be stunning and beautiful.
Oh,
like,
definitely that. Yeah, but
I think there's going to be some great stuff.
I mean, the way the actors have been hyping it up, like, oh my God, you're
not just trolling.
Yeah, like, do they really understand how invested? So they act like they do. Some of them act like they really understand it, you know, and they've been to the cons and stuff. But I don't know if all of them really get it. So
I think some do, some don't.
I think so.
You know. So
I tend to believe Sophie Turner though, because she's pretty hip. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she says some interesting stuff about like her interviews are kind of interesting because she says stuff like she's happy with the ending first off, where Emilia Clarke is a little more wary of the ending. Like when she really talks and slips, she's kind of like not happy how her character ends. It's real interesting to see. You should watch some of the clips or read some stuff. But
wait, what is that? Who's not happy?
Emilia Clarke, like she'll say it's going to be amazing and stuff, and then there was one interview, I think at the Emmys, where she was a bit drunk. It seemed like, it seemed like she was. I don't know. Maybe she wasn't.
I mean, okay, let's just say she had a couple glasses of wine. Would she let slip now?
She was loosening up. How about that? Her lips loosened a little too much, baby.
Understandable. But tell us, Liz, what she said.
And then she's gone again. Every time she goes saying something really good, then we lose.
I know.
Milt, I love it. He says, I'm expected to be bitterly disappointed. Then no matter what happens, you'll be happy with the outcome. I love it.
I mean, and that's what I think that I told Liz. I'm like, the way the actors are talking and everything else, I'm really expecting a lot of people to be extremely disappointed. Go ahead, Liz. Mute myself.
Are you okay? Sorry, I was freezing again. No, she said something like it was very like they asked her if she was like happy how her character ended, and she kind of made like a blah sound. Like it was very like it's this like you have to see the clip. I'll see if I can find it later and send it to you guys. But it was very like, wow, and then she was like, oh, it's going to be amazing and blah, blah, blah. But it was a pretty obvious, like, she's unhappy with she's not thrilled with how it ends for her character, which is very different than what we get from like Sophie Turner or, you know, even Jamie Lannister or Nikolai and, you know, some of the other actors. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting, her reaction.
I love Jamie.
Oh my God.
Oh, yes. Me too.
And he's actually like the actor who plays Jamie, I never say his name.
Nikolai Waldo, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. He is supposedly said good things about, like, he's happy about how it ends. He's like, oh, they really pulled it together. They really got it. You know, he was pleasantly, I guess, surprised. And he's also like not the biggest Daenerys stan. So I don't know. We'll see. But he's, yeah. And I really like the art interviews Sophie's given. Like, she just says there's lots of betrayal. So you know, make what you will of that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Wow. Brian, you're quiet.
I know. Say more, Brian. Jump in there.
Graham, what you think's going on
Uh,
with Jamie Lannister?
I think he's definitely going north to help fight the White Walkers and stuff because I think he knows the true threat now after him and Cersei had their little spat.
With Jamie, do you think that he's going to Lord Harroway's town to meet the other Lannisters still? Or do you think that Cersei's done called them off? Or do you think that he does have that much influence over Lannister still?
I absolutely think that he does. I think some of the Lannister soldiers would I think definitely if it came down to that, there would definitely a lot of the Lannisters would follow him.
I think they would follow him too. I think everyone knows that Cersei's kind of crazy.
Oh yeah,
and
I think she gets fear more than anything.
I think that's a ploy to make people want to be on her side.
Yeah, I agree. Well, even like whenever I brought up when he was talking to Randall Charlie earlier, when she called the Great Lords to meet with her before and said, "Oh, give her a speech about Dany and the Dothraki coming," trying to turn them against Olenna. It took Jamie trying to be like the little ambassador then to try be like, I know you don't like my sister, but we really need you to come fight for us then even, And that's how he got Randall to fight for Cersei. And that wasn't Cersei, that was Jamie. So, and I know I've heard, if nothing else, I have heard we will see one new place in the season. I know everybody thinks we'll see the God's Eye or hopes to see the God's Eye. I mean, it's possible maybe we'll see like Lord Harroway's town or somewhere like that on Jamie's travels. I don't think we'll see White Harbor. I think they're just going to bypass White Harbor again.
Yeah, I hate that they did that. I really do.
I do too. There's too many good places. I mean, there ain't really nothing. I mean, Lord Harroway's town, there ain't really nothing exciting to see there either. So, I mean, I don't even think that one will count as a place to see. But, I mean, we could probably see just everyone gathering there. I'd like to see the Lannister troops all out in the fields gathering.
There is, if I'm not mistaken, you guys, there is a promo shot that shows some, either it was from this year or last year, they were saying, but it shows some people camped outside of Winterfell, like they're there to back them up. Did everybody see that?
It was on the trailer too. On the trailer, it showed Winterfell, and it showed you could see the
a camp.
Yeah, the tents outside of Winterfell. Because I remember they were talking about it don't look like Dothraki, and it doesn't look like Dothraki tents, but I mean, you can't really tell from an aerial shot that quick, and who knows what the Unsullied tents and all look like either, and it is just a teaser trailer.
Okay, like the Milt is saying in here at Peter Griffin.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
And me and Liz talked about that the other day. Sansa is the only one who recognizes Cersei as an immediate threat. And what if if it comes down to a battle between Sansa and who she's got and Cersei trying to protect the rear? I mean, I could see where that could possibly come down like that.
Like as the final battle being between Sansa versus Cersei?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that would kind of be interesting, actually.
That would be an interesting turn of events, I think.
Yeah.
And if she did, let's say, somebody's saying go with the veil to protect kind of it could happen.
Now, and see where you bring up the veil too, that was one thing that if I seen Sansa ever get married again, I always thought it would be to Sweet Robin, because then she would rightfully control the veil. And I mean, I could still see that happening even in the show. Just so she does have them armies full on. That is her army officially. We don't have to worry about their loyalty changing or whatever then with Lord Royce, because he's already said, "Oh, I don't like Lannisters or Targaryens. They're not to be trusted."
We already told her we came for you, my lady.
Yeah, right.
Right in the show, and he said that, and we came for you.
So what's to say that he might not change his mind later especially once Tyrion shows up, because then they're reminded, oh yeah, you were a Lannister, or are you, or who are you? you know, because that was already brought up whenever she was by little Liana when she went to the Mormonts, remember, trying to get them to fight, and they were like, "Who are you? We've heard conflicting stories on who you married. You
Yeah.
know, are you a Lannister? Are you a Bolton? Who are you? Like you're a Stark."
That's why I think Tyrion's gotta go. Like he's gonna die in the end because it's too conflicting for Sansa.
Just to clear up her storyline and who she is.
Yes.
Well, you guys, dinner is almost ready at my house. So
right, same here.
Yep, I was about to say, we're going on 2 hours now, you guys. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. I want to thank everyone again and for coming out. Liz, thank you for being a guest on here. Branwick, thank you. I'm going to have you back again, and I want to keep up with where you're reading. Because, yeah, that's also I love that you just read the Red Wedding. That's always exciting. And Jen, as always, you guys make sure you check out Lady Wolverton's book club on Thursday nights. And I will see you there tomorrow night. In fact, because what is it? Catelyn chapter this week, right?
Yeah, it's Catelyn 10, chapter 63. You guys, it's the Battle of Whispering Wood, and when they take Jaime captive, a really good chapter. A lot of little clues pop out at you on the reread. So we'll be going over that.
And that's always fun. I love going to her book clubs. And yes, it is. It's always fun. And you guys will see there. I will be doing something with Felicia actually really soon. Me and her are already talking about doing something. Yeah. And so be looking for more of me and Kimmy doing the Alkalite series. And we'll be back really soon. Me and Jen, I know we'll be doing more too as well. And Liz, I hope to have you back again. And we're gonna get your Canadian internet fixed somehow.
Oh my God, I think it's my computer. I don't know what it is. Anyway,
we'll figure it out. We're going to get it figured out so that we can have it where we can hear you.
I didn't even realize, but apparently my internet's honestly not up to snuff either. And I mean, yours looks very clear, Ree. I think you probably have the best internet of anybody on here. You can tell by how grainy the picture is and different things and whatnot. And I just learned that not long ago that it depends on your internet and who originates the call and a bunch of things. But
well, it's gaming. We always have good stuff because of gaming. World of Warcraft. Yeah. For the Horde. Sorry. Okay. And, yeah, speaking of other people, I got to say, it's my godson. He's like 22. He just turned 22, I think. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to add 23. He just turned 23 in December. Thomas, I'm calling him out now. He's just now watching the show. So he's like almost caught up on the show. And I seen where he posted on Facebook, I'm finally watching Game of Thrones. And he lives in Tennessee. So I've been keeping track with him. So I'm going to try and talk him into coming on sometime and see what he thinks of his first watch through on it. Because this is his first time too. So we'll see if we can try and trick him into it. He's going to be camera shy now. So yeah, this is me calling him out officially. Thomas Curtin, Tennessee. Yeah, we know where you live. All right. And thank you guys. As always, it's been wonderful. I'd like to thank everybody in the chat. Peter Griffin, West Rosie Ninja, as always. Don't forget, check out trivia on Friday nights too. Brandon Wick, you're on the panel with us. My husband, Brandon, he was on Johnny Bravo. Connie, a pleasure as always. Carrie McDonald, Peter Griffin, Sophia Cleo, I hope I'm saying that right, probably not. But thank you. Sanchez, House Sanchez, thank you as always. And I know I'm probably forgetting somebody because I'm going through this really fast. Dog Show. Oh, what's up, dog? Septa Shayna and everybody else. LMR was here too. Yeah, thank all you guys so much. And we will see you next time. And we will have something really good to talk about then too as well. So then have a good night, everybody.